Why, hello, it is I, Chris Brogan. Pardon me while I don't look directly at you for one quick second. I am bringing you the news today, Monday, 9/18/17. Hope you're doing well. Sorry for a couple days off from the news, but it's not an everyday kind of thing because I'm not a real TV station. Who the heck cares? I wanted to share with you a couple interesting things, and that's what I do. But what I also wanted to do was talk to you and say hi and see what you're up to. And I'm at my secondary news location, which is my not so set up area with my bouncy biddly laptop. So here's, hoping that it all goes fine just the same. All right, let's get into the news, shall we? First up, if you want to follow along, you just go to chrisbrogan.com. You do CBM. chrisbrogan.com/CBM takes you right to the most current news story, and you can get going from there. Hey, Dave, good to see you. If you want to make a show like this, the best way to do Facebook Live for Mac is to use this right here. Go to cbrogan.me/eCamLive. They are a client, a friend, a guy in town who is so cool and makes really good software, and you definitely want to check this stuff out. It's pretty darned awesome. My first story in the news today comes from the nice folks at Marketing Land. They point out that the rise of personal assistants is upon us. This is things like Bixby, who I don't like Google Assistant, like Alexa, and like OK Google on the Google Home. The point isn't that these kinds of things can talk to you. The thing is more interesting that these are getting cooked into everything. Refrigerators, alarms, thermostats, watches, cars, TVs, all the smart speakers, of course. But then the question becomes this. In a world where these kinds of personal assistants are driving search, what are you doing to make sure your products and services are visible in voice search? That's where it gets scary, right? Because I'm going to probably be totally accurate in my guess, that you do not have voice search thought out hardly at all. Hey, Pauline, how are you? So that's the news there. Hey, if you ever wanted to start your cocaine habit, don't worry, now might be the time because the U.S. Coast Guard is struggling with a capacity challenge when it comes to cocaine. So there is evidently a cocaine boom on the rise. Pardon me, getting over a cold still. And in this cocaine boom, we are having a little bit of trouble getting enough vessels and humans in place to protect us from the problems with the cocaine. So today's a great time to start that habit. Just attended the Detroit Digital Summit last week, and Voice UA was dominating the talks. Oh yeah, I mean it's not any kind of voice apocalypse or anything like that, but do bear in mind that this is going to make a massive impact. The way when there wasn't an internet and then there was an internet. Oh my gosh, Salvatore's here. Bixby was forced on without my new Galaxy 8 Plus. Yeah, I have it on my Galaxy 8, whatever mine's called, Active, and I dislike it immensely. By the way, not at all sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee this morning. Kind of strange situation. The nice lady at the drive-thru asked me if I wanted my black iced coffee with a turbo, and I said, I don't know what you're saying when you say with a turbo. She goes, a turbo. I don't understand how someone can clearly use the sentence, I don't know what you mean, and get back the same response. I said, do you mean more caffeine? And she nodded like a strange puppy. So I don't think she actually understood, excuse me, beyond the product name, what she was selling me here. My biggest former Navy clients say the biggest challenge is recruiting. Less than 1/4 of American kids signing up could do even one push-up. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. Oh, hey, by the way, can the U.S. federal agents search your phone at the U.S. border? Oh, yes, they can. And it turns out that you probably don't want that. So this article at Business Insider talks you through how you can set your phone up to prepare for that kind of a thing. So I think it's a poopy kind of a story, and it is absolutely something that I don't support in any way. And it really brings to the point that we're all going to be bringing burner phones to the border like drug dealers or leaving our devices at home. I don't know which. Hello, Jason. Yeah, the turbo thing was absolutely nutty to me. I just didn't get it. Ultimately what she did was she put the wrong thing in my coffee, and then didn't want to have to make another one. But on my side, I was just like, I don't know this word you're using. So Merry Christmas. So that be that. So yeah, that's a little weird about the U.S. border. It kind of bums me out. In the good side of news, Ottawa has a zero-waste grocery store. So you bring all your containers and you put your groceries together at the store because they're trying to make it, reusable food containers to transport your food. It's funny, the very first thought I had was, boy, that's interesting. I wonder, good go you environmental people. And then honestly, the very next set of thoughts I had was, what a damned hassle. Like, how much work would it be? You got to bring all your certain kind of bags and packaging in. But at the same time, the opposite is it just seems like groceries are all about packaging. Even if you try to order, through the produce section and all that, they still stuff them full of all kinds of things, Dave's point, eat your vegetables, no waste. I'm a plant-based eater right now. I eat all plant stuff, grains, vegetables, and legumes. And you're right, there's a lot less waste when you do it that way. But, I don't want to go there and pick up I don't want to pick up soup in my own container and things like that. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe it's something that, we'll get into. All right. So this is one that I think is an interesting challenge. What happens when a massive company buys your little small independent company? Nestle and Blue Bottle. Totally weird. This article, though, goes on to say that this might be an actual interesting thing. So I'm not a Blue Bottle coffee snob because I don't live in San Francisco, but boy, oh boy, lots of people really dig this. But what's interesting is that Nestle needs to get into some more healthier brands, and even though coffee, some people will argue, isn't healthy, it's a lot better than what they've been selling. And I can tell you that what's going on here is that Nestle has to really rearrange what their ownership is and all that. So bottled coffee being a very important investment, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's all investing in those sort of bottled caffeine drinks. This one is still kind of a segment that bears some attention. And so that's why they're picking that up. Oh, speaking of which, why do I not see?
Companies
Did
and
I move
CEOs
it?
take a wide
I think I moved it. Well, I had another story for you that was going to match this very same thing. But I guess I don't have it in place anymore. Oh, no. Well, then in the verbal, Chris Brogan says it to you. Coffee with Coke inside it is going to Japan. Now, we've had Coca-Cola do Coca-Cola Black before. This is a different blend. Now it's labeled as, it's a Coke-looking label, but it says coffee with Coke. And this is going to be a big thing in Japan. Speaking as a somewhat non-discriminate caffeine drinker and someone who likes things that you might think are gross, I'd give it a try if they had Diet Coke with caffeine, but a little weird. In interesting PewDiePie news, I continue to follow and trace the life of Felix Kjellberg because as much as he keeps getting in trouble for doing things that end up being either racist or misogynist or both, he is now getting interesting situations that might be important for you and I to pay attention to. This is another company called Campo Sampo decided to launch a copyright DMCA takedown on a PewDiePie live streaming video that had nothing to do with him saying or doing anything, and it was not technically in violation of a copyright, but what they did was Campo Santo decided that because PewDiePie was getting in all kinds of trouble for his use of the N-word in a totally different video game and video game stream, they just didn't want their content associated with him in any way. And so they sent YouTube a request to take down the video. What makes that interesting is they used a law that's built for anti-copyright to make a personal preference kind of a vote. That's what's worth paying attention to. Because it's not like we should ever think that the laws are there to protect us. The laws are there as weapons. A lot of times laws are used to block innovation, to stomp on somebody's potential, etc., etc. I'm not defending PewDiePie in any way. I'm aggravated that a company could say, use this law that's meant for problem A and let me use it as a PR tool to eliminate a problem going on. I don't support that as much as I don't support someone choosing to use the N-word while playing a video game. Blah. All right, moving on. Bitcoin crashed twice last week, and it's important to take note that it's something I'm still investigating and experimenting in. I think that these blockchain coin things are interesting. I think that there is some future movement on these sorts of things, but it's important to understand that there are a few different things going on. So China says that they're going to shut down the exchanges. That knocked some of it down. Jamie Dimon at Goldman Sachs, who stands to lose if Bitcoin does well, has been yelling about them for years. And then all of a sudden there's a big dip in the market. Important to note that a lot of people still say that this coin is still very undervalued, that this whole idea of cryptocurrency is here to stay. The book probably of note to read, even though it's not my favorite on it, is The Blockchain Revolution by Donald Tapscott. More importantly, if you're a Netflix kind of person, swing over to Netflix and check out the documentary just to kind of better understand cryptocurrency in general. People are comparing this to like the Dutch tulip craze, etc., etc. But I find that when a lot of people really start dismissing something, that's when I pay even more attention, because I feel like often that could be fear. That could be, this might really wreck us. And so I'm actually starting to invest in these things, especially as the price is going down, because I missed the early cost and value opportunities. So I'm going to stay with it. And for that reason, that's the next piece of news. Malta is switching to blockchain advisory to look at, excuse me, the use of, pardon my cold, by the way, the use of blockchain in general in regards to moving its finances around and all other things. There's all kinds of different ways to use blockchain, including for contracts, things like real estate purchases, legal documents, etc. And so this is important to note. So the same thing that runs something like Bitcoin, blockchain, is more and more and more central banks are taking a look at it, and governments are taking a look at it. Finland fairly recently, a bunch of other countries. I've reported a bunch of them here on the news. So if you've been around, you might have seen some of them. Hey, do you like to go camping? I think Dave goes camping. I think that I was a former Boy Scout, and in the old days when you had to go out and try to put up a tent, it was a misery. So I saw this, and I thought it was kind of cool. This is called a Raft. This is a floating tent raft combo. So imagine this for the easiest and lightweight stuff. This thing folds up into the size of a backpack. It is a raft, so you can do some water-based camping, but there's also a tent built into it. It's a little snug. It's going to fit basically one of you, but why, how many people are going to be in your raft? One. So you need one per human. But I think it's a really cool option. Definitely worth checking out. The Raft. My last piece of news is something that, it's funny, some people reported this somewhat negatively. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Alibaba's CEO, Jack Ma, decided to, for his annual event, dress up as none other than the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, and then proceeded to do a little dance. When you are a mega successful CEO, you can dress like Michael Jackson all you want, and you can do your best to show off your cool hip dance moves. I thought it was cool. Good on you, Jack Ma. I'm going to take this getting over my damn cold body out of here. I am so grateful that you had a chance to come by and check out the news with me. It means so much to me. If you want, go back to chrisbrogan.com/CBM, and you can read all the notes, click all the links. Especially you're going to want to check out that link that I pointed out that was about what to do at the airport with regards to your phone and everything like that. Hope you're having a great day. Talk to you soon. Merry Christmas. Vaya con quesos.